Tell me that's not a beautiful sight right there. Rear wheel drive, manual, 4 doors, beauties. All right guys, M3 video. Today we're going to do a walkthrough and overview of this F80 M3. So lots of M3 content coming your way. I have the window sticker, and I'd really just like to go through the specs and what was important to me, what's not important to me, and go through the actual car itself, the condition, PPF, headlights, the rear section, all that stuff we're gonna go through in today's video. And if you're like me, you think it's pretty cool to have the M3 and its older cousin or brother over here hanging out. Pretty cool to have them both in the same space, of course. All right, so here is the window sticker. Super nice to have, of course. And let's just kind of go through the options of this car because it is pretty unique. Total build at the time was 83,000 bucks. So it definitely has a few pretty big options that not every car had. What's interesting is this cloth leather option, which a lot of cars had leather. This one has that sort of cloth two-tone, and then the Alpine white, of course. I'm a fan of Alpine white. If you couldn't tell, I've had 3 Alpine white cars, so at least I'm consistent. Okay, so what else is nice is the executive package. Of course, it comes with a bunch of stuff here, like the heads-up display, which I really like, so that is kind of nice. Heated steering wheel, that doesn't hurt for the chilly days, and then the lighting package, which has, and in 2016 it had the nicest headlights that they would put in this car. They're not the icons, but those are actually on the way, so be tuned for that video. The biggest thing about this car that sets it apart probably is these M carbon ceramic brakes. So these are the ceramic brakes, which are a eye-watering $8,100, but they look so good. They're really practical. They have no dust, and they're, you know, exotic brakes basically on sort of a normal-ish car. The rest of these things are pretty normal, like the home link, the armrest stuff. The sunshade is kind of a rare option. I don't really see many M3s with sunshades. The M5s, if anything, those cars have more in the sunshade option. The side shades, these are all heated front seats. That's all pretty normal stuff. Parking assistant, that might have been added. Automatic climate control, ambient lighting, Bluetooth stuff. So the rest of this stuff, the shadow line, anthracite headliner, this is all, I think, pretty standard, but the brakes definitely set it apart. And, you know, the lighting and executive package were also not cheap. So, yeah, so really nice spec. Again, you guys probably heard me say I would have rather had competition, the comp pack, but everything here was really nice about this car, and it was a one owner, and I have all this stuff. So this is sort of a little outline of, I guess, the other stuff, Harman Kardon, which is pretty good. And yeah, this is just the rest of the window sticker here. So I think I mentioned in the very first video, one of the big draws was the fact that it was one owner, PPF, and pretty low miles for the year. And I had all the history from the car's existence. So other cars I was looking at, I just got a little nervous. The special colors are cool, but this has, I mean, the comp pack was really the only thing that it didn't have. I would have wanted a 2018, but I feel like no matter what, you're always sacrificing something. So if you get a later model and you want a similar price point, you have more miles and more owners, you don't have the brakes, and sometimes they have a sunroof or something stupid, which was a deal breaker for me. So I thought it was a good fit. I can drive it and not, you know, be worried about the color, or if I want to park it in an area like when I stayed at the hotel traveling, it's much more unassuming. So it's, I guess, less fun of a color, but it'll never get old. I've never gotten old, annoyed with the color on the E92 or my 335 back in the day. So if you guys remember, the 335 kind of started the channel. This camera's getting a little heavy, but anyways, the I don't need to justify this, but yeah. So overall, I feel really happy with this car. I cleaned it up, and I didn't do a full wash, but I foamed it and then blasted the wheels. So I didn't even use any wheel cleaner on these wheels, and they came out really, really good. And I did drive this car today, so it does have some kind of, you know, road debris or whatever, but we've got some wheel gap. So I have plans to probably do springs. I think I'll start with doing springs on this car. I haven't decided exactly which ones. This car has full frontal PPF, so I'll have my guy look at it. We've got like a little bubble right there, so I'll have him kind of go through it and give me a little bit of feedback and then change a few things. This I'll take off. I'd like to do carbon fiber mirror caps, but in the meantime, this has clear film as well. And then as you guys saw, I think you can see there's a line right here. So this has been protected, which is probably the most important area, the impact area. But I'm gonna have my guy Tyler at Vortex Detail. So if you're in Columbus, hit him up, just Google Vortex Detail. I'm gonna have him take this piece off and then do the whole roof, which won't really be terribly expensive and definitely worth it. So this whole clip is protected. Black grills. I have the IND badges on the way, so I'm kind of revealing a few of my mods already incoming. They're already on the way. Reflectors will be changed out with the paint matched as they were on the E92. I think, yeah, these wheels are mint. The only thing they need is the wheel weight residue needs to be cleaned up. This is kind of nice that this was changed out to black. And this lower rocker has PPF, and thank God, because that piece of tire, if you guys saw, it came up and it had a whole thing right here, and then you can actually see, I think, this piece of plastic has like a mark on it now. So I'm gonna see, I have like a trim restorer. You know, this, I guess it depends how expensive this piece is, but this car is in such good shape. I hate to have this all marred up already. It's always like, it's always something when you first buy a car. There's lots of water spots, of course, because I didn't fully dry it. The owner put, or the seller, I guess, he put rubber floor mats, and I have the original ones, which I don't even think have been used. So I'm gonna put those in the car during the nice parts of the year, and then maybe in like fall or spring, I'll throw the rubber ones back in. But you guys can see, I mean, the seats are just really clean. There's no funny business here, basically. And this is a true, you know, walk through this car. I didn't like really wipe it down or anything, to be honest with you. This is nice to have this, and then the centerpiece, carbon fiber. This thing is nice. I don't even have this, the charging capability on my phone. Like the case I have doesn't have it. So I'll have to like change my phone case out at some point. But yeah, everything in here is factory. We've got a radar detector. So a nice addition, which I definitely loved having that on the way back. So that's a really nice, like sleek mount. So that'll definitely stay. I may change out that radar detector to something a little newer at some point. But yeah, so there's a short shift kit, just a very modest one. So the shifter and all that look the same. Like I'd keep the same shifter, but the actual mechanics are different. So in the future, I'll think about changing that out. And then this parking brake and the boot, sometimes they have ones you can change out for carbon fiber, which is kind of nice just to have it match this, and then maybe that piece can be it as well. Some cars have too much, like the guys put carbon fiber on every surface and it looks kind of cheesy, so I don't want to go down that route, but I do want to kind of enhance it a little bit. These B-pillars have paint protection film, and then we've got the back seats, which there isn't really much to note back here other than the rear sunshade, which is kind of nice. And I do wish, you know, the competition seats, they have that cut through, so there's a hole. there's a little tickle slot in the competition cars. So mine doesn't have the tickle seats, unfortunately. We've got factory wheels, and I'll show you a modification I already bought for those actually. Factory lip, spoiler or whatever. This will be changed out to one probably similar that I had on the E92. And then I already bought this badge in black, so I'll do black badge from I&D. And then the rear section will be changed out at some point in the near future. All right, I'm gonna spill the beans with some mods that I'm gonna be changing out. These are the Project Kicks lug nuts. I think that's what they are. And what's cool is they have sort of a burnt, it's neochrome is what it's called. And this seemed a little bit ricey to me. However, this is the first time I'm doing this. Bring this over because of the carbon ceramic brakes, because they're the gold. I really think having just a little bit of color right in this middle, because you're only really going to see like this part of it. So it's going to be very subtle. At least that's the plan, to have the stud kit and then just a little bit poking out there to hopefully sort of match. I know it doesn't match exactly, but the goal is to have this OEM plus, but maybe a little bit more plus than the E92. All right, so that's the plan with these. These are open-ended, which is nice. I have the stud conversion. So this was, I actually did buy this used from another forum member. Basically, I think this is a must for my car because I'm a little scared of the carbon ceramics and like chipping the rotor or something. So I think this will help avoid that. So we've got these, and then these are spacers from Keys Motorsports, and I have a set of 12 millimeter, and then I have a set of 15, and we are going to make the wheels look nice and fresh and flush, because if you come over here, they are quite a bit sunken in. And so the E92, I actually had 18 millimeter or like 17 on the front and like 10 or 12 on the rear. So this car, I think what I'm gonna do is 15 on the front. We'll kind of see how it goes. 15 front, 12 rear. Because it's funny, the height of the rear is not terrible. Like a half-inch drop maybe is all I really think I'll need. What's funny is look at the M5. Like the M5 is the same way. I mean, and I did slightly wider tires on this car. So even just doing wider tires, and then that's it. There's no spacer on the M5. Look at this thing. God, the E39, man. Well, I should do more videos of this car. But yeah, so see how sunken in. It's a more modern car. It's kind of funny. Yeah, the wheels on the M5, they're always good. So the front ones on this car, quite a bit more tucked. But yeah, so this will have a nice flush fitment. All right, guys, I think that's gonna do it for the F80. Current state, very stock, which is a little goofy looking at some moments, but even just doing the few things with the wheels and then getting tint done. Oh, I didn't mention tint. I'm gonna do ceramic tint, and I'm going to do 20% sides and rear. I'm not gonna do anything with the windshield just yet. I did like the M3, the E92, I had 50%, and it really made the cabin that much cooler, because if you think, the biggest piece of glass is the windshield, and it's like raked the most, so it's facing the sun, which means really it's almost, in a way, the most important one to do some tint if you actually want it to make a difference. So it really takes the edge off, even if you did like 70%, which is really what I would do next time. So let me just keep it simple, 20% sides, get the PPF cleaned up. So plenty more on this car. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.